timing of this was in fact dictated by the fact that as a consequence of us negotiating around the nuclear deal, we actually had diplomatic negotiations and conversations with Iran for the first time in several decades. So the issue is not so much that it was a coincidence as it is that we were able to have a direct discussion. John Kerry could meet with the foreign minister, which meant that our ability to clear accounts on a number of different issues at the same time converged.
Yeah, right. You know, John Kerry, I meant to show you this picture, folks, maybe next week. You know how there were bikers for Trump at the convention? They were going to take care of any trouble. Someone posted biker for Hillary. And it was John Kerry on his bicycle with his helmet and his, like, whatever they call that suit, you know, that tight sweat exercise suit. It was hysterical. Larry Klayman is with us. He could be funny. I don't know about hysterical. Former federal prosecutor, founder of Freedom Watch. And Larry is here to talk about what you just heard in part from Barack Obama, the $400 million ransom that the Wall Street Journal uncovered this week. Hello, Larry.
Hey, Steve.
Good to talk to you. So, you know, Obama's like, well, what are you looking at? There's nothing here. Are you kidding me? This wasn't even a coincidence. This was just the way it was supposed to be. The man lies like he breathes.
Well, I'd like to be funny, but this is really tragic. You know, they really raked President Ronald Reagan over the coals for Iran-Contra years ago, many years ago, claiming that he did business with the Iranians to free hostages. In fact, at that point, he really didn't. But let's go fast forward here. The Democrats have no problem with Barack Obama basically paying over $400 million in ransom to get hostages and then lying about it. It's clear that he can't really come up with a cogent explanation. And it's his coziness with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Look, he's half Muslim. He associates with his father. He wrote a book about extolling the virtues of his father. His
father was my father taught me.
Deported from the United States, who overstayed a visa, ironically. So he feels some affinity for Iran, and he's acted that way at the expense of Israel. They're now on the verge of nuclear weapons if they don't already have it, and it's totally consistent with his, frankly, anti-Semitic behavior and anti-Israeli behavior.
Well, Larry, let me interrupt you there because you know what he said yesterday that Benjamin Netanyahu has already responded to. He said, everybody said the Iran deal you know, wasn't going to work and that it would be dangerous and they'd be on a path to a bomb and they'd be cheating. Well, even Israel, the biggest critic, he said Israel, and we played this at the beginning of the show, now says that's not true. It's working. And Netanyahu said, what? I mean, these people never stop.
Well, he's lost control of himself. I mean, he's very cocky. And just the other day, he gave a press conference with the president of Singapore where he trashed Donald Trump in front of a foreign power. Now, suppose Donald Trump actually wins the election. What has he done? He's undercut the United States. This man, frankly, is a traitor to our country. If he had been anything other than African American, and I don't mean to cast aspersions on African Americans, we have many colleagues that are that way and actually stand for really good values, but he would have been impeached and convicted by now. He is a traitor to this country, Steve, and we've seen it over and over again, and this is the latest example of it.
Well, I believe that certainly being a Democrat, but I think if he wasn't black, then maybe, just maybe, the feckless leadership in the Republican Party would have gone through with some kind of impeachment when he's trampled time and time again on the Constitution, when the Supreme Court over a dozen times has unanimously ruled against his administration. Something's very wrong when that happens. All right, Hillary. Here's what she said today. We played it a couple of times, but it's well worth hearing. Lying to Chris Wallace about telling the truth to the public regarding her emails. Here it is.
Director Comey had said that my answers in my FBI interview were truthful. That's really the bottom line here. And I have said during the interview and in many other occasions over the past months that what I told the FBI, which he said was truthful, is consistent with what I have said publicly. So I may have short-circuited it, and for that I will try to clarify, because I think Chris Wallace and I were probably talking past each other because of course he could only talk to what I had told the FBI, and I appreciated that.
Well, obviously he wasn't talking about only what she told the FBI. We played this earlier. He specifically said to her, what you told the public, said it more than once. It was perfectly clear. And for her to say that Chris Wallace could only be talking about what she told the FBI is a lie. And she's lying about what she said. It's just that she can't stop lying, Larry.
No, she can't. You know, what's interesting about that is that Chris Wallace is very polite. He's not really a conservative. I mean, he's a good newsman, but he's not really conservative. He was very light on her and basically gave her open-ended questions, and she still lied. And that's what's remarkable about it, is that the woman is so pathological, she doesn't even know when she lies. And I remember during the Clinton years when I deposed nearly everybody in the White House, the basic line was, I have no specific recollection.
Right.
Well, now Hillary has recollection. And the recollection is she didn't lie. So it's funny if it wasn't.
I know.
It'd be funny
I know.
If it's not so tragic.
I know. And if we had a real media in this country, and of course I'm not talking about Newsmax television. We're not the media. We're Newsmax, as JD always says. But if we had a real media in this country, this woman would never be where she is. Never. And if we had apparently a legitimate DOJ, this woman wouldn't be where she is either. Let's get to our first phone call at 877 Newsmax. Folks, we're having trouble. We can only gather one call at a time. So you might get a busy signal. Keep trying. 877 Newsmax. Let's go to the first call. I'm not sure who it is, but I welcome you aboard with me and Larry Klayman. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I don't know your name. I'm sorry. Oh, it must be Sandy from Indianapolis. Hi, Sandy.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, Steve. Thank you for your show.
My pleasure.
I just want to say regarding Donald Trump that there are too many critics of Donald Trump, even guests on your programs who say that Donald Trump is too bombastic, needs to tell etc. But it reminds me of the movie Top Gun and how those fighter pilots had to have a certain type of personality to do what they do. They would be, they would go racing across the desert and on their motorcycles, and they seem like wild and crazy daredevils. But the same is true of the leader that our country needs at this time. And this is not the time of Reagan, and the Republican Party today is not the party of Reagan. But Donald Trump is a strong and bold person that is needed for this period of our history in this country.
Well, I thank you, Sandy, and I apologize for not getting your name at the beginning. We're still working out the kinks here in our new studio, but thank you. I want to go to Larry. Larry, can Donald Trump overcome where he is in the polls right now?
At this point, Steve, it's going to be very, very difficult. And, I don't endorse anybody because I'm the head of a public interest group, and people can pretty much know what my views are and who I think would be better for this country. But I don't endorse in terms of who to vote for. But the real tragedy here is that the Democrats have assassinated Donald Trump, particularly over this Khan family. I mean, that was not even a relevant issue. Donald Trump never said that the son shouldn't be honored or that he wasn't a citizen of this country and should therefore be deported. That was a non-issue. It was a hit. But then you've got the Republicans with House Speaker Ryan and also Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, and John McCain, another senator, assassinating Trump from the rear, legally. So they basically have done significant damage. And what I think is likely to happen here is that unless, and God forbid, Steve, God forbid, there's a massive terrorist attack, I think they have deep-sixed Donald Trump at this point, and I think the Republican establishment is even more responsible for it than the Democrats and Hillary Clinton.
Yep, and we're going to get a Supreme Court that's going to change this country beyond recognition. Donna is next at 1-800-NEWSMAX, 1-800-639-7629. Hi, Donna from Frederick, Maryland. How are you?
Hi, doing very well, thank you.
Good.
And it is an honor to be on the show, and I love the program, but I want to be brief and just not talk past anybody here, with respect to Hillary and Bill.
Yes.
I'm very concerned about this Sharia law with their funding, and what's terribly frightening is it proves that there's a marriage between their radical Islamic leanings and their Saul Alinsky viewpoint. So it ties in the marriage between those two kind of groups that we've all been questioning for the longest time. And I think it really needs a lot of attention so that people understand the danger here.
Yeah, Larry, there is a definitive delineation between Hillary and Obama and Trump. Hillary says Muslims have absolutely nothing to do with terror, and Trump says quite the opposite. That seems to have gotten lost, but is Donna right? Is there a connection there between Hillary and radical Islam in any way, shape, or form? Not that she supports it or directs it, but you know what I mean.
Well, there is. There's a connection between Hillary, there's a connection between Obama, there's a connection between the Democrats. Just look at the last few weeks, and this was another impeachable offense by Obama, to incite violence against police officers and law enforcement. And I brought a lawsuit in Dallas to redress this against him, Farrakhan, Sharpton, and the rest.
We talked about that, yeah.
A lot of the individuals who are responsible for killing cops are from the Nation of Islam, black Muslims. And that's one of the reasons why Obama doesn't react to it, Hillary doesn't react to it, Obama doesn't react to it and defends it because he's half Muslim and identifies with that.
Larry,
Hillary's got money.
I got to go, my friend.
Terrorist states.
Larry, I appreciate it. Donna, thank you for the call. Thank you, Larry. Pat Boone is next. Folks, if you're watching us on DirecTV, in another week, we're going to be changing channels on DirecTV. So go to 366 now. We're there now, too. Check it out. Change now. Get used to 366. Pat Boone next. Don't go away.